According to the theology of the Nation of Islam, which is the 25,000-year cycles of time of the original people's history, written in advance, which began 66 trillion years ago. According to our history, the Torah and the writings of the Old Testament prophets represent a script from this current 25,000-year cycle of time, specifically the last 6,000 years of the rule of Yaqub and his made man or made people, the Caucasian people. Well, anything that is written in advance to be lived out or fulfilled at a later date is defined as prophecy. On this note, let us consider these words from Brother Jibril Muhammad. There are some things or people that we read of in the Bible that did not exist. There are other persons about whom only some of the things that we read are really historical. For example, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that there really was a Samson. He was a very powerful black man. He used to pick up a 2,000-pound bar over his head, which was in the holy city of Mecca. Now, as we know, the world record in this world of Yaqub of what they call an overpress is only 521 pounds. So Samson was a mighty, mighty strong man that we wouldn't be able to fathom that strength today, as great as we think we are today. Continuing with Brother Jibril's statements. However, some of the things written about him, Samson, in the book of Judges simply never took place historically. Nevertheless, these things that never took place were written to show forth something coming in the last day and were based on something of truth, which did take place. Whether or not Samson ever slain a young lion may be disputed, but we do know that even if he did and returned and saw the dead lion, which the Bible says he killed, he could not have seen bees making honey in the carcass of the lion. The value of this episode in the life of Samson, according to the book of Judges in the Bible, lies in knowing what was the intention of the writer, what was he looking at, and finally, what is the real fulfillment of this prophetic picture. Now, these three elements constitute the interpretation and explanation of the scriptures. And those elements, again, are what was the intention of the writer that Allah inspired to write the narratives. What was he looking at? And what is the real fulfillment of a clearly prophetic picture? Now let us read these verses from the book of Judges so that we can all agree on the necessity of the scriptures to be properly interpreted and explained. And he went down and talked with the woman, he meaning Samson. And she pleased Samson well. And after a time, he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. And he took thereof in his hands and went on eating, and came to his father and mother, and he gave them, and they did eat. But he told not them that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of a lion. Now we know you're not going to find honey in the carcass of any dead thing, nor bees making honey in the carcass of any dead animal. So clearly that needs to be interpreted as it relates to the fulfillment of the messianic prophecies